safe and efficacious, the approval is not received. So this is whole spectrum, and I'm talking about this in detail. This whole spectrum, this whole timeline of 10 to 15 years includes thousands of people from the expert side, whether they are investigators or hospital staff or nursing staff or the sponsor company or the university people, thousands of experts are involved in it. While at the same time, these trials are done on again thousands of people. So we'll talk about it in tomorrow's discussion, also in pharmacovigilance. But these are the trials which are run globally, right from phase 1 to phase 3. Especially the phase 3, you'll find these trials are done on global centers because the sample size required for these trials is in thousands. There is a rule of three which we typically thumb rule that for to detect an event and say that 95% with that 95% confidence that this will be seen in three of at least in three instances out of 100 people, three times more subjects are. So 1,000 people are required to just test the three people to be showing that event. So that is the rule of three, and in thousand, in multiples of thousands, such sample size increases to just detect an event or three events per thousand. So if we look at it, this is really a big environment or large size unit which is working as clinical development unit. And in a typical pharma company, you will call yourself as R&D scientist if you join the clinical research. One of the R&D scientists, which could be either in clinical development phase 1 doing the clinical trials or the clinical monitoring on the site in the hospitals, visiting the hospitals across the globe or across the country or wherever you are posted, or you're also doing database job, which is more of data analysis and running the statistics or writing the reports or evaluating the reports from medically or statistically. So those are the typical services that we have seen in my previous slide about what TCS is doing, and there are thousands of them. Like Dr. Shirish said, in Indian industry itself, if we have at TCS, we are 7,000. Across the industry in India must be around 40-50,000 people are there in the clinical research development. Next slide, please. I have spoken about it. Next slide. Yeah, I've spoken about it. Next slide. Yeah. I have covered this during the whole roadmap or whole clinical development path. It takes about 13 to 14 years for one molecule to get from that disease biology state, identify the target which can be modified, identify the target drug, and then lead into clinical trial. It takes 13 to 14 years of very hard, passionate, and very focused effort with almost 3 to 4 billion US dollars. That's the current estimate by the industry. It takes 3 to 4 billions of US dollar investment to go into this, and there are multiple chances the molecules fail. So out of it is again estimated where a number is out of 3,000 molecules, out of 3,000 such chemical compounds, one succeeds through the scrutiny of safety and efficacy, which is again like experts. You're all pharmacy or life sciences people. You will finally rise and touch that compound. If you are, for example, I'm just saying, clinical research associate, and if you see an adverse event, if you observe something in a patient, you will typically report that. Where that adverse event reaches to a certain assessment level, if that adverse event is found to be very significant, serious, unexpected, as well as debilitating to the patient, or let's say a simplest term that such and such drug can or such and such compound has been found to actually develop cancers or actually develop congenital anomalies. What will happen? You stop that drug there immediately, right? And then you go back to the again whiteboard, go back to again disease biology, go back to find another compound maybe or modify this compound. But it is then goes back into the development